So Virtue Strength has been really helpful for our school for a variety of reasons. One of the biggest reasons when I think of the way we use Virtue Strength to just give our virtue presentations every month to our classrooms. There's just a wealth of information that we're giving. It's very streamlined, it's very organized, and there's so much content that we as teachers and administrators, coaches are able to sift through and find what works for us. One of the best things about Virtue and what I like about so much is it's meant to be very concrete. It's not meant to be it's not meant to be just abstract definitions of what virtue is. There's a lot of real life examples. There's video links. There's stories that we're able to utilize from the materials. And what we're looking to do for our students is give them tools so that they can make connections in their own lives. Here's what the virtue of, let's say, patience or the virtue of perseverance looks like in action. Here's what it looks like at school. Here's what it looks like at home. Here's what it looks like in your vocation, whatever God calls you to in the future. Here's what it's going to look like. And so it's very concrete. It's very practical. It's also, the presentations are aesthetically pleasing. And so, a lot of the generation these days, they are used to looking at screens a lot and are used to media, and so it does a good job of us being able to utilize the slide decks visually stimulating for the students, but in such a way that has high content as well. Something I really enjoy a lot is the scripture passages and the saint quotes, and then just a lot of the different videos I like to utilize, and I think it speaks to the students. I think they're able to see real life connections and then use those connections to incorporate for their own life. I also like Virtue Strength a lot as a coach. Something I really utilized last year was each day before practice, we would look at the Bible verse of the day for the virtue of the week, and we would discuss that as a team and how can we utilize this virtue. So maybe, for example, the virtue of perseverance. We're reading scripture passages and then we're talking about how does that apply to us as a team at this practice today, gearing towards our game the next day. And trying to make those connections to the students that this is what this virtue looks like when you're on the field. This is what it means to persevere. One cool story I could think of was last year during baseball season. The virtue of the week that week was perseverance. And we were talking about it in practice and how we as a team in the season can utilize this virtue. What does it look like? And we had a great moment where unfortunately we were losing pretty good in a game. And it was later in the game had already been decided, there was no way we were coming back. And one of our senior leaders on the team, he embodied this virtue, and it was seemingly an ordinary moment. He grounded out, easy routine play for their shortstop. But the way this student ran towards first base, it was like Game 7 of the World Series, because he wanted to make a statement that he understood that no matter what the score is, you finish to the end and you give it all you have. In most cases, a lot of times that's the case. You hit a routine ground ball, I'm not going to run it out, we're losing by so much, but he gave everything he could, and he was out, and it was insignificant. It was just an out in a game that was already decided. But that inspired me so much, and it was a great moment that I could bring to the rest of the team after that game of this is what this virtue looks like. And then we were able to make those connections. Remember, we were talking about this virtue, remember the scripture passage of the day. And so just having those tools and like a organized platform to drive these conversations, because these conversations come so organically, they come so natural in sports, they're already happening. But to have an organized system, like to have a weekly virtue, it helps me as a coach because I don't have to jog my brain, what virtue should I pick this week? And there's so much already that goes into coaching, let's say, but to just have everything mapped out ahead of time. And then the cool thing is seeing how we can find relations to where we're at in the season. Another aspect I really like of Virtue of Strength is the ceremony. So I've been at 2 different schools using Virtue Strength, and at both schools we utilize the jersey ceremony, for example, and I saw how impactful, if that ceremony is treated well and done well, I could see how impactful it could be for the student athletes. Seeing the students pick someone who means a lot to them and hearing that person say words of affirmation, words of encouragement in front of a group is extremely powerful. We had a lot of dads giving their sons their jersey, and hearing what came out, just the impact of these speeches, some people would be in tears as they're giving, because there's just a power in this case, let's say a father's love and speaking affirmation over their son or over their daughter, and letting them know how much they're supporting them in the difficulties of the season they're embarking on, the joys, the trials, the challenges, but knowing that they have a support system in their parent or in whoever they choose, this mentor of sorts, someone who means a lot to them, to be able to show them, like, I have your back, I'm here to support you. As a coach, I've been asked by some of my players to do that for them. Like this past season for baseball, I was able to give a jersey to one of our seniors, and I had seen this student since he was in 4th grade, and seeing him blossom as a senior captain, a big leader on the team, and be able to just affirm him on how far he's come since the 4th grade and the man that he has become, not just how well he's accomplishing on the sports field, but more importantly, just the quality of character this young man has grown to be. It was just a great moment where we don't always have the opportunity to give words of affirmation to our kids or to our students, but to have like a ceremony, especially in front of others, again, if it's entered well, it could be so powerful for these students. And so I've seen that happen. I've seen the power in it, and it's been a great blessing to us.